Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's TonyXTony. Don't forget the X. I just want to talk today. Just like kind of go where my brain goes. And if y'all want to follow along for as long as you want to, go ahead. But really, where I want to keep the subject kind of centered around is burnout with my phone. And just not want to be on it. And I think it has a lot to do with just how much I'm on my phone in general. Just trying to like do things. And it's like easy to judge people for being on their phone a lot, and then you start to realize just how much there is to do on there. As far as just like Instagram, you gotta do your TikToks. Like if you're somebody that's trying to post and stuff like that regularly, you don't want to be behind on what's going on. So then you find yourself just always like kind of tapped into what's going on with the news, and it's hard. And sometimes it's just too much, and it's just like, man, I need a break from this. But then whenever you take a break, then you start to realize that your engagement goes down, and it's just like this whole vicious cycle of just like creativity meeting the analytics and the complexity of those two coming together. It can take the fun away from the process sometimes. But where I've come to my own realization is that like, as long as I'm having fun with the process, then like engagement seems to come. But it's really one of those things where like if you're not getting engagement, then you stop having the fun that you was having with it originally, where you might have not been getting none at all, and it just plateaued at that way. Or maybe you even had like one video that did really well in particular, or one project, whatever it might be, something that you did that really stood out, and then you've been trying to work your way back up to that point. And you know, sometimes we might have a stroke of luck and not realize how we got there. That's why I think it's so important that you do have to like kind of struggle to get to certain places. That way you know how you got there, and you took a little bit of time to have to figure things out and not make you make mistakes that aren't gonna affect you that the way they would if you was a big channel. Whenever you're a small channel, or like if you're a small artist or whatever it might be, when you're still growing, you still got some grace. But like if you get way too big way too fast, then you might lose some of that grace because people just think that you're established. And you know, you might not be able to replicate the success of something that you did more than one time, and the people are like looking at you sideways. And I think that's where like one hit wonders come in. But I think that's even more complex of a conversation than people are willing to have. One hit wonders aren't necessarily just a one hit wonder because they have one good song. Oftentimes they have really big fan bases that really just, they've supported that artist for a really long time, and then that song blew up. And I think that the core fan base gets a little more hurt than like the new fans that are coming in, that are gonna try to like change the artist from who they were or where they were at one point. But anyway, all this to say, like, all these expectations and things that you're already trying to consider, and then you add a phone in the digital era into all the mix of it, and it really starts to bog down the experience if you're not careful. Now, I have found my passion for it again, and that's been through like YouTube. Really, like just being able to just get my thoughts out, talk about things that's fun to me, and not really care what anybody else thinks about what I got going on. And that same pressure the same pressure that I have from like Facebook and Instagram and the platforms where you try to put on like more of a pretty face and stuff like that, those platforms to me are just so much more, it's harder to feel free. And on here, I don't know anybody, nobody knows me, we're all brand new friends, and we can grow together. Y'all can grow to hate me, y'all can grow to love me. I'm hoping that y'all grow to love me. But at the same time, it's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna post a video, it's gonna stay up, people might say some stuff in the comments, and at the end of the day, it's all strangers. So it was all subjective off of how everybody felt about the video and the content itself, and not like so much about me and the content. Because like what happens whenever you start dealing with people that are close to you, it's not really so much about the content with them as it is with like who's presenting the content and what do they see you doing with what you're presenting. And when I say that, it's like, what level of success do you have right now? Is there anybody else gonna support you? Because like, if they're not supporting you, why should I? And I know it sounds like a really shallow way of thinking, and I think that's because it really just kind of is a shallow way of thinking. And a lot of people get stuck in it, and it's one of those things where, like, I oftentimes have to think about it from other creators' point of views too. Like, I probably have friends that I haven't been able to support all the way with the things that they've wanted to pursue, and maybe they felt let down by me. And I think it's just one of those cycles of where you can't really just go to anybody else for what you want to feel in this sense of support. You got to learn how to just grind through the support and no support, and just enjoy the process of what you're grinding through. And the more that you just keep, like, loving the process and not having no expectations, like, not having expectations is what leads to great things. And I'm not really sure why that is. It seems to be one of the universal laws the more that I keep hearing about it. And it's really hard to, like, drop an expectation, especially whenever you know the potential of things. And I think the potential of things is what makes the expectations come in the first place. Like, yeah, I see what everybody else is doing, or, like, I might see how somebody else is making money, or I might see how much fun it looks like somebody else is having, and the engagement that they get. And it's like, don't look at everybody else for their gains and, like, what they may not be gaining. The more you start comparing yourself to everybody else, the less happy you're gonna just end up turning out. And that's the problem, though. Like, to bring this back to phones, you have instant access to be able to compare yourself to everybody else. Like, you literally log into Instagram, then you're comparing yourself to other people because you see maybe they're getting they got an opportunity to do something that you really wanted to do, like maybe go to Japan. For me, I see somebody that I see, they don't even care about anime. They don't care about anime at all, but then they're over there at an anime shop taking pictures and stuff. And then, like, you might get a little jealous. And then it's like, you got to make sure that you keep that under control, because one day it's going to be your turn. And there's going to be people that get jealous of you too. And it's not up to nobody else to decide what actions you take in your life. You just gotta be content with where you're at in the moment and really embrace it for what it is. Go create something if, like, you're feeling low on yourself and you're feeling like you want to make something of yourself. Like, make something of yourself then. You're not gonna make something of yourself by sitting there and hoping that it happens. You really just gotta go out there and get it from the mud. Put yourself back on that horse and ride away, right into the sunset, cowboy style. And you know what I mean? Like, that's the best way I could think to put it. You can't stay down forever, bro. Like, pick yourself up. And the comparisons, that's gotta stop. It's really gotta stop. We all gotta stop with it. Because as much as we all want to act like we are just so, like, perfect, and nah, that's not me, like, I've never done such a thing, I would never be blah blah blah. There's somebody out there that you're watching and you're like, man, they got something that's doper than what I got, because that's just how the world works. And that's why new products are introduced that you might want to go get, because maybe you didn't see somebody else get it, but you saw somebody else didn't have it. Either way, it's a competition with somebody else that is really kind of just human. And that's the hardest part about being human, and curbing that desire to just want to always one up somebody, because I think that's where it really starts to come down to, or not be one upped by somebody. That can also be some people's prerogative too. But yeah, keep y'all head up, man. Don't let your head stay down too long looking at the phones, because these things really are, they can be both our biggest tools as far as, like, helpful instruments that get us success and help us to reach large audiences of people all at once and engage with people that we would have never gotten the chance to even know existed. But it can also take up a lot of your time, your energy, and your focus from everything else that kind of matters in life that's actually tangibly there that you can be taking in. Even things just as simple as sitting on the couch with your loved ones and watching a movie, or watching a movie by yourself that you really enjoy, that you watched 3 times because you thought it had like this really funny part. Like, that's an experience that nobody else is living. So why don't you live it the best moment in the best way that you can? But anyway, that's all. Peace out, y'all. TonyXTony, like, comment, subscribe. This is just me going off the top. This is not really too much about anything. I kind of wanted to keep it centered around phones. If you guys like these kind of topics or something like that, let me know. I'll keep doing little rambles and rants. Anyway, peace out, y'all. Have a good night.